Welcome to our brilliant agents and investors from across the country. Today is Thursday, September 14th, 2023, and this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 446. Bruce, Tim, I got nothing today. What do you guys got?
Well, that's it. You've been doing all this talking. You got nothing else. That's it.
Nothing new. No, sir.
Oh,
No interviews, put it that way.
All right.
Lucy, go ahead, bub.
You want me to go? All right,
Yeah,
I will go.
Why don't you talk a little bit about, kind of where things stand with mastery and some of that, because I've been getting some questions about that myself, and I'd like to kind of bring everybody up to date quickly about that, and then let's get some questions going.
Great. Well, I am actually going to start with all the leads really quickly and let you guys know if you're not here, because I do see some new faces, but I see familiar faces. If this is your first time here on live on Zoom or via live stream on Facebook or YouTube, this is a Q&A mastermind session. So we want to field questions. We want comments. We want success stories. So if you're here on Zoom, go down to the bottom of your screen and click the little reactions button. You'll see a bar that says raise your hand. Raise your hand. We'll call on you for any questions that you have. We can offer some live coaching advice and mentorship on the call. We also want to hear if you've been doing this for a week, a year, 10 years, and you have some success stories. We want to hear what those success stories are. Specifically, that it doesn't mean that you have to have a success closing a deal. Maybe you arranged a meeting with an attorney. Maybe you had a great conversation and added someone to your pipeline. Anything like that. We want to hear those successes. If you're on live stream, you can chat your questions in underneath of the YouTube live or the Facebook live, and those will come over to the coaches on the call, and we'll be able to help answer any questions that you might have, or share your wins. So that's all the leads. All the leads does provide probate leads and marketing systems for those of you that are getting into the probate niche. There's also divorce leads and pre-probate leads over there as well. If you're getting into the probate niche and looking for a lead source, I encourage you guys to go check out alltheleads.com. You can chat with a salesperson on the chat, or you can call it the support or sales line and get pricing on your county. Now, let's kind of switch gears here really quickly and go over to Probate Mastery. So Probate Mastery is a program that I purchased from our friend Chad Corbett a couple of months ago. It is a certification course that basically runs through just lots of information from ground floor soup to nuts. Let's say that soup to nuts on what you need to do if you're getting into the probate space. Comes with several courses. It comes with a course called Principles and Practices. Principles and Practices is what to do in your first 30 to 60 days of being in the probate niche. So how to build your mailing campaigns out, how to build a unique selling proposition that attracts business versus repels it, what to say on the phone, and what digital marketing you need to do to really get your business up and running. It's not comprehensive, but it's a great place to get started. And then there's the Probate Mastery course. It's 15 hours on demand. You guys will take it and kind of learn all the good stuff, all the deep, big, important things to being a probate specialist or a probate expert. At the end of that, you get a certified probate expert designation that you can use in your marketing for those of you that are agents or investors. I see a bunch of people on here that are certified probate experts and in the Probate Mastery program. Now, what I brought in after I bought the program was a 12-week mastermind. I brought in monthly role plays. There's a whole bunch of really good things. Bill Gross on the call right now. He does a weekly mastermind Q&A style call for the people that are in the Probate Mastery organization. It is just such a powerful program. And if you sign up through all the leads, you go to training, you get a discount on the course price. There's a 10% discount there versus signing up through probatemastery.com. Right. Hopefully that answered a few questions for you, Tim. Do you have anything for me that I need to clarify?
No, I just think that it's important for everybody to know that this is something that we previously had placed a great deal of emphasis on, and it has high value. The folks that are, are graduated from the course and literally have the ability to put the CPE designation following their name, they're the people that are really, really focused on building a pillar of their business around probate. And it's kind of an old, kind of tried and true thing, but some of our very best folks are in fact CPEs and have gone through this training. And I think it's real important that y'all all understand that not only are we behind it, but highly, highly recommend that you do it. And it's one of the benefits of being a subscriber is that we're able to provide it for you at a substantial discount. All the training that we do, that we can provide it for you at this discount. And we look forward to being able to do that on a regular basis with this. So I urge you to avail yourself of this. Bruce is as good as he gets as far as training, and he distills this in a way that is easily understood and important. So I can't tell you that I could back it any more than I'm just telling you right now. We as a company feel it's critically important for you to take this, and we want you to get rocking.
Yep. My goal in any training is for you guys to get done with that training and say, wow, if Bruce can do that, so can I. One of the problems that a lot of trainers out there have is you take their training and you leave and you go, man, they're a guru, they're an expert. I'm not sure I could be that good. And I don't think that I've worked really hard to make sure that no one has to say that when they take something that I've done. I try to boil it down into bite-sized chunks. One of the things that I added into Mastery in general is this Mastermind series. So you take all these on-demand classes and quizzes and get your certification, and then it's like, hey, I have to go self-pace myself through all these extra steps and things. Well, you just come to the Mastermind on a weekly basis, and we walk you through step by step. So for example, last week we talked about going and building one attorney relationship. So just one attorney relationship and the techniques for that. And then this week we talked about dealing with objections on the phone, and why objections are actually a very good thing in your business. So we're doing those every single week to go along with the certified probate expert designation and the probate mastery curriculum. I do see the question: is it recognized by NAR or CAR? The answer is no. We've kind of worked on that. It's not currently recognized by them. It is something that you can use in your marketing. And to my knowledge, there really is no certification in the probate or the estate niche that they are offering. It is something that I'm pursuing, though. All right. Quick question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick. I don't know if I heard you mention it. You also may want to touch real quick on foundations. You talked about mastery. Yeah, you may want to distinguish the difference and, in how that works.
So first off is I want everyone here to know that Probate Mastery is technically a third-party program. I am involved with all the leads very heavily. And so we're running parallel to one another. I want to make sure that everyone who's coming to all the leads for their marketing and their leads has access to Probate Mastery so that you guys get educated in the proper way. The first step that many people take is a program that I teach live every 2 weeks. It's called Probate Foundations. You can sign up for that through alltheleads.com under the training. It's completely free. If you want to kind of dip your toe in the water and see if a course like Mastery might be a good fit for you, there's 2 hours of value-packed free education where we go through a lot of really, really good stuff every 2 weeks. It's live. It is recorded, so if you ever sign up and miss, you can get the recording. But I encourage people to ask questions on that call. It's not just one big sales pitch. It is real information that you can go out and you can use today on building your probate niche. We are going over script openings. We're going over building your team, doing your marketing. You get letter samples. There's lots of things that you can use in that. So I encourage anyone who's not so sure about rushing out and paying for a certification course to go take Probate Foundations. It's free. It's going to give you all the steps that you need to take to get started. And then you may decide to move up into Mastery at some point in the future. We're here to make sure that you're educated, whether you're paying for something or not, you're going to get educated. So go do that. Fabio has asked in chat if there's a script for the initial call on pre-probate leads that you just got your first list. So first thing that I want to do is kind of talk about our philosophy on scripts. Yes, I and we do write scripts, but what happens with scripts a lot of times is you end up using it as a crutch. And even with the best intentions, you can lean on that crutch for far too long and just end up in this cycle where your conversations aren't very good. And you tend, in some cases, to blame the script when the script was never used to do any more than get you started with practice. So there are some scripts. I don't change what I say on a probate call versus a pre-probate call with maybe one or two minor exceptions. So on probate, I may say, I work with families that are going through probate in the Wake County area. Could I tell you quickly what I was calling for? Okay, that might be a way that I would open a call. With pre-probate, I might say, hey, I work with a lot of folks that are going through the process of inheriting and maybe settling an estate because they haven't gone into probate yet, and they might not go into probate. And then I'm quickly going to say, was your family going to need to go through probate at some point, or were you guys going to try to avoid probate? So I'm identifying which path they're going to take. And once they tell me which path, then I'm going into the exact same conversation structure that I do in probate. So there's really almost no difference aside from the question that I ask in my opening. There are opening scripts in Probate Foundations. So if you come to Probate Foundations, I'll give opening scripts for that. If you haven't signed up for that, go sign up. I think we're teaching it next week, if I'm not mistaken. And you'll get a replay if you can't attend, and there's going to be a script attached to it. But to teach you everything that I know to handle on a probate call would probably take Probate Mastery and something that's significantly more advanced, because it's about 3 days that I spend going over all the conversation structure that you're going to use. The biggest trick is just getting your opening and your USP presented, though.
If you don't mind, Bruce, we're all about alternatives. I was just going to give them an alternative approach that we've heard a few of our subscribers use with pre-probate. It is closer to the death. Some of our subscribers were kind of reluctant to mention it. And we've been told by a few people they've had pretty good success just treating it like a calling around the neighborhood call. Hey, this is Bruce. I sell a lot of property in the neighborhood of 123 Main Street. It looks like you might be associated with the property there. Is that correct? And don't even reference the death if that makes you feel more comfortable. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Depends on whether you like the direct or the indirect approach.
Mm-hmm.
Want to add that?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I have people that mention probate, mention the name of the decedent on their call, and other people that say that they never mention the name of the decedent. Some people do that circle prospecting type approach that Jim just mentioned. What you want to do is find your groove, and it's all in that opening. So when you open your conversation, it shouldn't go for more than about 20 seconds in the opening before you're asking questions to identify that they're truly involved and that there might be an opportunity there.
I have a question on the pre-probate, because I'm working, obviously the probate leads religiously, 5 days a week. I'm making my phone calls and following up, sending out texts and emails. Pre-probate, my understanding is maybe that would be a good opportunity to get people before they've interacted with an attorney. And then you can, find an attorney that you want to work with, bring them business on a consistent basis, which would exponentially increase the odds that they're going to reciprocate and get you business back. But like I said, I haven't started working the pre-probate leads, so I'm not sure if that is actually the case.
I think that there are two major benefits to pre-probate. Number one is what you just mentioned. You've got people that likely haven't gone and interviewed and talked to attorneys yet. So if you can establish that relationship, you control to a degree where they go for their attorney relationship. And if you control that and can refer, you will probably get referrals back. Probably. And number two is they're hard to get. You're not going to have much competition. Most likely they have not been marketed to or prospected before. Now it's a little closer to the death, so they might have a little bit more emotion, but man, they're not going to be combed through very much at all. You're kind of the only person that's marketing or prospecting to them. So those are two huge benefits of pre-probate. Everybody needs to know that there's no public record for these folks. So we rely pretty heavily on skip tracing. It's not perfect data. It's good data, but it's not perfect.
Hey, Bruce, if I could add a third benefit, you're going to get people that are in trusts and living trusts, and you're going to get some deals that are never going to go to probate because the people planned well and they managed to avoid it. So yeah, that's another side benefit to consider.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, and this leads me to another question about the digital marketing that you were talking about, because being that probate is takes a while, like it takes usually about 2 months for them to get their first initial hearing, and then it's going to take about a month and a half to go back to court. But the first one's the main one. There's that lead time, right? So you have a great conversation with somebody, you feel really good, they get to know you, but there's just so much slack in the line from the conversation to the court date that you might lose them with all the other things we're doing, which leads me to want to know more about the digital marketing. That's definitely a weak spot for me. But also with the pre-probate, I figure if you are the person that introduces that person to the attorney, like once that connection is made, then the chances of you losing that client during the interim period is very, very low.
Extremely low. Yes. Because that attorney, if you have a relationship with them, which everyone should have great relationships with attorneys, you're not going to lose them. When it comes to digital marketing, number one is everyone should be doing digital marketing, talking about probate to their sphere of influence as well. I thought it was interesting on Bill's call a couple of days ago, we were talking about digital marketing and emails and being able to provide value to people that might not be on a probate list. That's really important. I've personally lost business from people in my sphere of influence that refer me business. I had a guy that had brought me 5 pieces of business over about a 2-year period, and we were actively involved in a very beneficial referral relationship. We were good. He didn't just decide he didn't like me and not send me a property, but I told him about focusing on probate one time, and he said, I wish I would have known. I would have used you to sell my mom's house about 6 months ago. And during that time, he had actively been referring me during that time. It's not like he just decided, I'm not going to give Bruce this one. But in his mind, it required a specialty. And because I didn't bring it up when he was selling his mom's house that he inherited, he went to someone else that he thought was a little bit more focused on probate. So you guys should be in your digital marketing, and ATL has a digital marketing program as well. In that, you need to be posting and sharing about through social media about the probate niche. It may not be the only thing that you talk about, but some of your posts and your comments and content needs to be about probate and settling estates and inherited property. This is very much a theory right here. But another thing that I'd like to see somebody do is I'd like to see someone maybe geofence the properties of the personal representatives. So let's say you get 300 personal representative addresses on a probate list. There are geofence companies out there that can put a little tight circle around that house and run specific advertisements to the people in that household. So that's something that can be done. It's not a product that I'm going to rush out and vouch for a specific company. I know several companies that do that. If you guys Google geofencing, the trick is getting it really tightened down, not on a neighborhood, but on a house, on an address. And then I just imagine that if you're prospecting, you're doing calls, you're doing emails, you're sending letters, and when they open their computer or phone up, they see your face through advertising, it's going to just reinforce that you're the expert to go to. All right.
Looks like David Pinnell's had his hand up the whole time. He reminds me of that Driving for Coffee with Celebrities show. You know, he's behind the wheel. So let's talk to him about his drive.
David, you're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, and one thing that we never discuss about the pre-probate is the same thing Zillow's done to all the realtors in the market. They got between you and the buyers and the sellers. Zillow did a wonderful job over the last 13 years of doing that. And we watched it happen. We let it happen. So when you think about pre-probate, it's not really pre-probate, but what are they doing? What is their thought pattern? And they're looking for an attorney, right? So why can't we run ads, and I do now, on keywords of attorney, forward attorney, probate attorney? It's not about talking about a probate. It's about being that when they're going to sign up for my website now for evaluation because they see the word attorney. I don't care if it's wrong. I really don't.
It's not wrong.
I'm going to get that lead. I'm going to give it over to the attorneys I'm working with. And right now it's working beautifully. I'm on the way. I already did a BPO this morning, which I've never done. I gave it to an attorney, which should be a house here soon. I'm on my way to look at another house that they haven't even filed probate yet, but they're about to, and we maybe avoid it. At 10 o'clock this morning, I signed a contract for a piece of land for $65,000. That's worth $200,000. I bought a house last week that was distressed in probate. So you just gotta, don't wait for it. Don't wait for them to file probate. I know you guys sell the leads, but call them, mail them, but also market like you're an attorney.
Yeah.
That's what. And then what I was going to say when you're talking about training, I'm sorry, I got to keep my eyes on the road. It's a beautiful process when you know how, when you're one investor or realtor, you know how to buy a house as an investor, you know how to look at the remodel. As a realtor, you know how to list it and sell it. But then when you actually get in your courses, your probate mastery course, your foundations, and actually get into the perspective of the world, you're going to learn how to do affidavits. You're going to learn how to do all the paperwork to avoid probate for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have monument title and affidavits. So over the last 7 years, I've just, you meet the people that can help you and your team, and you end up, I have another house I'm under contract with. It's a $35,000 assignment, but it's one brother that was in prison. He assigned it over to some neighbor that he wants it back, that he thought it was a friend when he's in jail. He got released 2 years ago, and he thought he was going to get it assigned back to him. He didn't. So he got screwed out of half the inheritance. So I'm working on doing that, reversing that right now. It's crazy. So I hope that's a crap ton of information, but that's good.
Oh man. You guys, I hope everyone heard the nugget. Has anyone ever gone looking for something online? So you go online looking for a dialer, or you go online looking for leads, or you go on whatever it is. You go online. I'm going to take a trip to Thailand here in 5 or 6 months, and so I'm looking for neck pillows for a long 24-hour plane ride. And I went looking for a specific neck pillow a couple of days ago, and I typed in that neck pillow, and ads for all the other different brands of neck pillows and types of neck pillows popped up. And now I'm seeing all that marketing. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with figuring out some of the first things that people that have had a loss go search for, and build your keywords on Google around what they're looking for. Are they looking for an attorney? Are they looking for an estate sale company? Are they looking for this? And then build keywords where it comes to you, even though you might not be an attorney, it comes to you. You don't want to portray yourself as an attorney. Don't ever do that. but it comes to you because you have the attorney connections and you have other services that they're going to need. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute consultation to figure out what attorney you want to work with. So I'm gonna build that out too. So it's and then the pre-probate 55 and older communities, build those out on the website. List them all the retirement communities in the area. It's crazy how much stuff you could actually do to get organic traffic and dominate, man. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's good stuff, David. Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Continue to
no
chime in if you've got anything else. We have room for questions, guys. I'm gonna answer a question from Flavio in here in just a second, but I do want everyone to know we have room for questions. So if you're here on live stream, chat your question in under the live stream. That would be on YouTube or Facebook. And if you're here in Zoom, raise your hand, click the little reactions button. You guys can chat your questions in on Zoom. That's completely fine. We'll get those and answer those, but I'd love to have an opportunity to do some live mentorship and have you give your ideas. So David just chimed in with some ideas that were gold, or your questions. So we want to hear from you guys. While I'm waiting on some hands to go up and questions, Flavio mentioned that when you scrub the leads, you notice that many have a trust or have multiple owners listed. Okay, that's a statement, and I think it's really, really important. So, Flavio, I'm assuming that you're referring to your pre-probate leads, because typically probate leads are not in a trust. So the property would not typically be owned in a trust if they're going through probate, with an exception. Okay. Generally, a family would set up a trust in order to avoid probate when there's a loss of the patriarch or the matriarch or whoever it is that's potentially passing away. They set up a trust to avoid probate. However, what happens many times is they run out, they set up a trust, they move their assets in there, and then over the next several years, they get a little bit sloppy with how they buy things. They go out and buy an expensive car that's worth it more than $50,000, and maybe they do cash for it and they don't put it in the trust, or they buy a house or a rental property, or they just accumulate assets that don't go into the trust. And they pass away and they go to settle those assets out, and they realize that because they weren't put into the trust, they need to file probate. So every now and then you're going to see these probate cases that the real estate and some of the assets are in a trust, but there's still some assets that have to go through probate. So I want you guys to know that that is a possible thing that may happen. However, with pre-probate, that happens quite frequently because we don't know yet where they're going to go. We don't know if there are houses that are in trusts. We don't know if there are assets that are in trusts. We also don't know who the personal representative is going to be. So many times you're getting the names and addresses and phone numbers of many different heirs, many different heirs. So pre-probate's a great way to build up a big list of people who all likely are running into an inheritance, very likely, and they're going to get their own individual piece. It's also a great place to be able to offer cash advances if they're going through. So probate cash is a product that All the Leads offers, and you could offer that to people that are running into an inheritance. I guarantee if there's 10 heirs, one of them's going to be really bad with money, and they're not going to want to wait on probate to be done before they get their cash. So you could offer a cash advance and solve their problem and get a commission on your own.
Hey, Bruce, something just occurred to me. I think I just invented a new category called post-probate. I'm kidding, but it just occurred to me that part of all of our jobs should be to educate these heirs so that they don't have to go through the same thing. You know, a lot of the people that passed away are probably in their 80s, 90s, and the heirs are in their 60s and 70s. And post-probate to me would be when you're getting ready to wind the deal up or sometime during the process, say to the heir, you know, can I refer you, just like you have the opportunity to refer to an attorney in pre-probate? When the probate's winding down, refer them to an attorney post-probate so their estate doesn't have to go through the same process. And that's a real good opportunity to earn the business with the attorney kind of coming and going. And you are providing a worthwhile service. Tim and I had a call with someone last week, a big affiliate, and the person said to us naively, well, anybody with half a brain would avoid probate, and they meant it. They were kind of serious. Not the case. There's a lot of intelligent people. We always like to use the example of Steve Jobs and Walt Disney, were fairly intelligent people. Both of their estates had to go through probate.
And Prince.
What's that?
And Prince.
And Prince, yeah. So just because everybody knows they're going to die, but nobody actually realistically wants to deal with the fact. So regardless of how good a job we do at educating, there's still going to be a load of people that don't go. But there's a benefit there to post-probate or sometime during the process, even when you first meet the person, say, when this is all done, I'd like to connect you with an attorney so you don't have to go through it. Provide value that, let them know you're going to be providing value upfront and then actually do it at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
That's it.
Idea though about the after referral to the attorney, because we all know, and we've heard countless stories about the best referral partners that you can find are, these family law attorneys that are looking for someone to hand this off to. And, it's such a great way to cement that relationship. That's a good point. I was afraid, Jim, you were going to go down the pathway of saying, okay, now that we've settled grandpa's estate, who's going to be next? Who's going to be next to die? So you can get out what you're going to. And I was hoping you weren't going to do that.
We can refer them to the psychic hotline for that, but that's a topic of another call.
There you go.
Good stuff. Tim, question from Cindy. Do we need to be a subscriber of All the Leads to participate in the probate cash program?
You don't actually have to be. If you are a subscriber, you actually make money on this opportunity. If you are doing that, we have a form on our website that you can fill out and use to do that with, but it is greatly to your advantage to do it as a subscriber. Like everything else that we do, one of the things we add value. So you earn a commission if you do that, and you can earn $500, $600, $700 every time you refer somebody out to them if you do it through us. That's what's important. So you don't have to be, but you should be.
Mm-hmm. Joaquin asked if I could reshare the link for trainings. So specifically probate foundations, and I'll have the marketing team drop this into the chat as well. There is a link through alltheleads.com. And if you
already there, Bruce, it's in the marketing chat right now.
It's in the marketing chat right now. Well, this came in after that link went out. So just go click on training, drop down to the different courses. Anyone that's listening to this needs to know that as much as I would love to earn more of your hard-earned money by having you sign up through probatemastery.com, you should sign up through All the Leads, because there is a discount through All the Leads. And just go to training and they just put the link back into chat. All right.
I think it's important to know that, we don't do this just for fun in terms of providing discounts and things like this. We value you guys, and we know that, the more that we can offer you, discounts and great opportunities and do your mail for you and provide you with high quality credibility websites and all the things that you need to be successful, the better you're going to be at your business and grow your business and stick around longer. And so, yes, we're in it to make a profit, but we're working real hard to earn it. And so everything that we do, we don't put anything up that you don't get an advantage by doing it through All the Leads. It's very important to know that that's kind of the way we work on that. And if you have any other questions right now? If you don't, Bruce, I've got one thing I'll run through, but if you got some, go ahead and take them.
I do. I have a couple of questions. Sure. Elvis has asked, what's something that you can do to market to these brand new leads? And his example is call them right away, and then again every 7 days until they answer. And should we mail? So what do you do to market to your brand new leads inside of that first window, that first 30-day window? That's a really big opportunity. So your leads that you get they file probate, and there's normally about a 30-day window where the low-hanging fruit leads are going to do something. So the low-hanging fruit are your folks that might be a little cash strapped. Maybe they pre-planned. Maybe they knew that their family member was going to pass away, and so they started making plans. And sometimes they even put that plan into the will, and they move really quickly. That's your opportunity to list or sell a property or provide a referral to a referral partner very quickly. And that's in the first 30 days. And so you need to put a major emphasis in your marketing and your prospecting efforts during that first 30 days. We find that the majority of people don't have a pre-plan, or that maybe they're not quite as cash strapped as that. And the majority of folks are going to take 5 or 6 months before they sell property. So you've got that wave of people that comes at about a month. And then you have another wave of people that comes somewhere around month 6. And yes, people sprinkle in between. So don't ignore the in between, but put a major emphasis in that first month on your marketing and your prospecting efforts. And then you may want to ramp up your marketing and prospecting efforts toward that 4, 5, 6 month time frame as well. So in general, you want to pick the phone up and prospect for sure. I like to call 4 or 5 times in the first month. I like to call monthly thereafter if they have never engaged with me or answered the phone for me. I also like to be mailing at the exact same time. So your expectations on mail are really, really important. Some markets, people respond to mail just amazingly well. One of our coaches, Kelly, she sent 3 months of mail and got 8 listings inside of her first 3 months. And it was all off of mail, not calling. And I don't want to draw the expectation that that's going to be the norm for everyone. Like in my market, my mail normally serves as a nice, slow branding build. And if I'm calling and I'm mailing and my letters, my postcards are stacking up over time, a lot of times they'll put a rubber band around my letters, my brochures, my postcards. And when I show up at month number 5 to their house, I'll think that the phone got the appointment, and they'll pull my stack of marketing out and say, yeah, we knew we were going to call you, but we just needed to check you out. So if you're in a market like that, you need to add a digital presence to your campaign. So you need to add a website, a series of blogs, some videos, things like that, so that people can go watch you, because they may get your letter and go, I'm going to need this person in 3 months. I'm not ready to call them right now. And they'll go look you up online, and they'll make sure that you actually know what you're doing and that you can back up the claims that you're making in your marketing. So those are the 3 big approaches. You guys heard earlier about attorney relationships. You heard earlier about Google pay-per-click and geofencing and social media marketing. All that stuff comes into play, but nobody get overwhelmed by trying to add it all at once. If you're going to add anything in the beginning, add some mailers and start making calls. And then if you're in a market that doesn't respond really fast on mail, you do need to point people back to a website. So point them back to a website for those people that are just going to secretly shop you and check you out for a few months.
Well, and I'd say yes to all of that, but I would also tell you that regardless of the market you're in, having that online presence and a place to point people to check you out, it's just like you made the earlier point, Bruce, that you're looking for a neck pillow and you got 17 different places you could go buy one. And if you're like me, when something like that happens and I'm looking for something particular, well, then I'm clicking on, all the sites that are out there, and I'm seeing what they have to offer and how long they've been at it and what they really look like. And, that's why we focus on building the credibility websites for everybody. And our marketing implementation specialists are working with all of our subscribers so that by the time your first set of leads come out, you've got letters ready to go, you've got a website up and running, and you're not missing the opportunities as they come in. And so we try to build a nice quick package for you to get it ready, and then over time you begin to tweak it and make it better. And as you build out the relationships with your provider network, your clean out crews, your estate sale companies, you begin to add that content to your site. So it's a building process. It doesn't have to be perfect to begin with. Let's get something out there, and we'll work with you to get that done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, I'm not I've got two more questions. I just want to call out Katie and George. I'm going to be answering your questions and commenting on what you guys have brought in here in a minute. But Tim, if you want to take a minute to
Sure.
share whatever you were going to, then I'll go to Katie and George.
Absolutely. Well, just really quickly, as we have talked before, this is the year that we're adding and building some stuff out that we hadn't done before. And we've talked today a good bit about pre-probate. As you know, we also are offering divorce in some selected markets, and we're putting the finishing touches on our new CRM that's about to be delivered. And right now it's in beta test internally, and we're working real hard to get all that done. There's another area that we are exploring right now, and that's the FSBO and expired marketplace. And so to that end, I want to share a link with you and talk a little bit about why I'm doing this, and why I'd like you to give us a little bit of feedback if you can. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see, will that pop up? All right, can you all see that?
Yes.
So we've got a little survey that we put up about FSBOs and expired. And if you would, take a couple of seconds and hop in there. It'll take you, it's literally a click and fill it in. There are a couple of places you can add some content if you want and tell us a little bit more. Most of it's click a button and all that. We're just trying to learn kind of about what you're doing now, what you're doing with FSBOs and expires. We've got the ability to put a program together with that. And it's one of the things that we're considering adding and giving you yet another pillar that you can build in your business. And so if you'll hop in there and avail yourself of this, for those of you who aren't able to see this, it's www.alltheleads.com/surveys, SURVEYS, www.alltheleads.com/surveys. And if you'll hop in and do that, that would be great. And we'd appreciate that. And be glad to get your information and feedback on that. And David, I see that you have your hand up. I'm going to assume that maybe it's about what we're talking about here. So I'm going to let you go ahead and hop in.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, David.
Just a second.
There you
Hey.
go. Gotcha.
I'll do your survey, but the one thing that we'd like to have, if you're going to actually be doing all those different types of lead sources, it'd be really nice if we could have an identifier.
What do you mean?
The
David,
having trouble hearing you.
you're breaking up. Tim, what I think David's referring to would be an identifier on the spreadsheet that's provided. That way, for those that are doing, and David, please forgive me, I am jumping to conclusions here, and I might be wrong, but an identifier where when you route the leads over into a private CRM, it shows up as for sale by owner or expired. Now, if I'm wrong, David, you can correct me when your signal comes back.
David, are you able to talk again? But
I don't know. I'm in
There we go.
highway, so
we hear you
let me know if
fine
you
now.
can hear me.
We can hear you fine. Say it again, bud.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I apologize up front, but every time I hear you guys talking about CRM, I cringe a little bit because I know how much effort it takes to build one. But I just literally cringe because I've been I'm a name drop GGMS. They're about to come out with a really nice one too. So
Thanks a lot. That's really good of you to do that. Have a nice
I know. I'm sorry, but you probably have a good Excel sheet, but it's I know.
You were killing it before that, David. So
You were
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah, we can know you so much, bud.
There's a lot to a CRM, especially with identifying everything you need to identify and keep up with. So it's like, I wish y'all.
that definitely is when you put your leads into your CRM, you want to have some good hashtags.
Yeah.
I know every month of the leads, I hashtag them out. I basically have year of my leads, because basically I have leads now that go back 3 years.
Yeah.
My CRM doesn't even have the capacity to send them all out at once. So basically I said year one from 3 years ago, year 2 and 3. But you're right. Having an organized CRM is important. And I assume all the leads CRM is going to be excellent, like the coaching.
I hope so. I hope so.
And Tim, they'll probably appreciate the fact that it hadn't been difficult at all, but the target date for rolling that out is January of 2023. So
Oh, yeah,
I think that was our original target date. So
It's actually last Thanksgiving, I think, is the original.
Yeah, last Thanksgiving was the original.
So, yeah, it is
No rush.
kind of longer than we thought.
No rush. I just got back from Florida working on the one I'm with. So it's like, it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And it, most of you either get the initial probate, the 5-month, or the 3-5 year out. So never delete any of the data and always touch base with everybody. Either letters, calls. I made 94 grand on assignment on 2 houses on one text message that they just kept going out. It was a 5-year thing, never responded to. I've said it before. It's amazing.
I've had people that registered on CRMs with very obscene names that did business with me. So don't delete your people. You never know when they're going to come back, but you do need drip touches. You need sequences. If you don't have emails, drip touches, or contact plans in your CRM and for your leads, you will lose them. So I encourage a lot of people to put things like that together.
I think part of the reason that we're doing this and took it on to start with, we've always offered a CRM. It's not something new. We've built a CRM in from day one with what we're doing, and it was always very, very minimally functional. It didn't really do much other than allowed you to work your leads and exclude or include them in mailing programs and calling programs. And that was what we started with. And as we've built out more marketing capability, it's become important that we provide more functionality and do that. So our CRM is very much the functionality that's there is wrapped around marketing, and that's what's the important part of it from our standpoint. So that's why we're doing it. A lot of our folks, we have a whole lot of people that use our CRM today, and they use it religiously because it's the best way to work their probate leads. And some of them do, in fact, export into lots of other CRMs, and we provide the ability to export the data as well. And we're going to continue to grow that as well to be able to do that and add more functionality. So if you want to put it into Vulcan or any of the other myriad hundreds of other CRMs that are out there, that's fine. But we're trying to provide you something that will work well with what we provide, and we'll do it natively. That's the intent. Cool. So anyway, Bruce, you've got 2 more. I think you said you were going to cover, and we got 9 minutes left. Go get them.
Yep. Let's go to George. George asked if I could speak to the difference between an estate attorney and a probate attorney. Those are actually not they use estate attorney, probate attorney, trust attorney, different things like that in their marketing. But technically their specialty is estates and trusts. So estates and trusts, when you're going through law school, you're going to pick your path, and estates and trusts is one of the paths. And inside of law school, they secretly refer to it as dead people law. All right. I don't think anyone that's an attorney would admit to that, but that's what they do, is they call it dead people law. And inside of the estates and trusts, they learn about probate. They learn about setting up living trusts and other types of trusts. They learn about estates, filing for letters of administration. There's just lots of things under that. So typically anyone that does probate work specifically is a specialist in estates and trusts. And anyone that does just calls themselves an estate attorney is a specialist in estates and trusts. That was the track that they should have picked. Now they further for marketing and kind of identifying the client that they're going to go with, they further narrow their niche down, not through education, but just as an identifier, marketing identifier. They'll call themselves a probate attorney or an estate attorney. But they kind of know all of the quote unquote dead people law. Now, what I'm going to say is that someone who calls themselves a probate attorney, they're focusing specifically on getting wills. Someone that passed away with a will, they're focused specifically on getting that will probated. Okay. And they probably are a good estate attorney as well. Anyone that calls themselves an estate attorney but doesn't mention probate in their marketing or how they promote and present themselves, they probably know probate really well, but they're focused more on setting up estates and trusts for the living. So generally speaking, if you run into an estate attorney, they can also do probate. If you run into a probate attorney, they can also, and they're highly educated in doing trusts and estates, generally speaking. It's just a matter of what niche they've decided to focus their business on. Normally, they do both, but not always. They always know how to do both. All right. Hopefully that helps with that, George. And then Katie has asked, and I've got to expand this a little bit. I'm getting old. My eyesight's not what it once was. So you had someone email and call you asking if you could meet and talk about the process, and that you're pretty new to this. Are there any tips? You do have a probate checklist from your website. So download that probate checklist and really understand the checklist and the generalized process for going through probate. What I like to do if somebody wants to talk to me about the probate process is I'm not going to present myself as this amazing legal expert. I'm going to tell them a part of my process is being able to either provide you the information that you want, or if I can't, being able to connect you with team members that I know can. And then you say, if you want the legal process, I'll give you the overview as I understand it, but I'm going to connect you with my attorney so-and-so. And if it's okay, I'd like to arrange a 1-hour consultation. And hopefully, guys, and I know not all attorneys will do this, but my attorney does it. They'll provide a 1-hour consultation for free. That's an extension of their marketing, and it's a way that they get business. So you might want to find an attorney that will do a consultation with the prospect. So I'm meeting them and I'm saying, when it comes to the legal elements, I'll give you an overview, but there's more to it than this. So I want to take you to John, and John's going to give you an extra hour-long consultation so that you get everything set up legally. And then I say, my direct involvement is around any property that's involved. So if you have real estate that needs to be retitled, refinanced, transferred to a family member, sold, rented, that's my specific specialty. And I'm here to talk to you about that. And then essentially anything that you don't know how to do, have someone that you can either point them to, or if you don't have that person, say, hey, I don't have someone for you right now, but I'm going to go find you that person. So never be worried if they ask you a question or ask for a connection that you don't have. Your answer is always, I'm going to go find them for you. So that's going to help a lot. You don't.
Yes, if I could add to that, not only print out if she has the probate checklist, like you said, for the attorney side, go to our website and print out the wheel of probate. Here's what I can help you with, finding all these people. I mean, bring that. That's what you can focus on, and chances are they may need help with both of them. But the positive, what you can do, and then refer what you can't to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. Katie also had someone ask for the cash advance through the website, and she has not talked to them yet. So Tim, this is going to be a Tim question. Do you need to speak with this person before they go to the probate through the probate cash site, or should they just go straight to probate cash?
Yeah, well, actually, neither of those. So if it's off of their website, off of Katie's website, and they filled out the form, it's already been done. The people from Probate Cash are already working with them, and they'll keep you in the loop about it. You've already done all you needed to do is basically by having that on your website, you've got it in, they've applied for it, and the good folks at Probate Cash are working with them right now to make sure they get that job done. It's an automated process. So when they fill that form out, it goes directly to them. And that's, you learned about it the same way because, they filled out the form, but you don't have to do anything. There's no effort on your part. It's a passive process for you. They do all the work, and they work real hard to find a way to advance them the money. They, if there's any way that they can do it any way to prove it. And basically, just real quick, what they're looking for is if they're named in the will and there's a way to demonstrate that the value of the property that's in the will is worth X amount of dollars, then it's easy to see how much they potentially would inherit. And in some cases, the folks at Probate Cash will advance up to 75% of the value of that inheritance. So it can be a great big amount of money, and they're more than willing to share some of that with you as well. So it's important.
Yep.
Great opportunity, and great question also, by the way. Thank you.
Now this is also your opportunity, Katie, to touch base with them. You should call them, not to double check on Probate Cash, but call them and say, hey, I noticed that you'd inquired about Probate Cash through my website. I work with a great company called Probate Cash. They're partners of mine. I just wanted to make sure that you guys had been able to connect at this point. Okay, and then use that as a launching point to talk about other things. What are you going to do with the house? Do you need help with anything? So it's a great excuse to make a call.
Right. And if you find when you talk to them that they've not heard anything or anything else, certainly let us know, and we'll follow up on your behalf. Just let support know. But to date, we've never had a problem. They get right on it, because that's all their business is. They're looking to put money out on the street. If they don't do that, they're not doing well.
Yep.
The other thing with Probate Cash is too, you can get people to do some repairs at the house, right? Many times the difference from a house selling from top dollar to mid-level is just some paint and carpet. So you can be like, hey, you can get this cash advance, and then you can basically you can improve your home drastically by only spending a little bit of money and have it sell for top dollar. You know, invest in yourself and your home sale.
Yep. And a lot of times the heirs would never, ever spend their money to go do that. But if it's money that they don't have now already, they're more than happy to do it out of money they might get if they sell it. That's an excellent point.
Thank you.
So Tim, just before we close, this is going to be a question, and I might need some clarification on this, but for you, Matt said that he's interested in signing up with all the leads, but his county is having issues getting the delivering the information to our people here at all the leads. Asked if there's a workaround. I don't know what county it is. Typically, some counties have some restrictions on letting people into the courthouse. The only workaround that I would give you, aside from all the leads continuing to work with them, is maybe identify what day probate court is and go to some of the hearings, sit in the room with some of the hearings, and you'll start to learn some about the process, and you'll see the actual people that are going through the hearings to get their appointed as the administrators or personal representatives for the estate. So I would go to probate court on the day that they do that. Tim, do you have anything to add to that on BB?
The only thing I would tell you is that we've been doing this, an extremely long time, and if there's a way to get the information, we're going to get it for you. Like I was talking earlier about the Probate Cash people want to put money on the street. We don't do well if we don't put leads out. So we're certainly going to do the best we can to get them for you, and just follow up with your rep and all that. I'm not aware of any place where we're kind of dead in the water right now. I think we've done a pretty good job of. I looked at we always have a list of what we call counties in arrears, and it's very small at this point, probably the smallest it's ever been. And, a county will come on where we're having a challenge, and we find a way to, go to the court, meet with the right people, pull the data down, or get into the software that they're using and work with that software or whatever. So we're working hard to get it for you, but let your sales rep know that you asked the question here, and see if they can give you a response, and ask them also to say, Tim asked me to tell him about this county, and I'll see if I can give it some extra emphasis with our collector folks.
Yep.
And Tim, it's not clear if they're a subscriber or not. By the question, if you're not a subscriber, they are a subscriber, Bruce?
No, I would doubt if they're trying to sign up.
If they're not, then just send an email to support@alltheleads.com and say, I need help with it.
Right, but they already got a relationship with a rep as well, because they were trying to get it, Jim.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good.
All right.
Good.
And I know we need to close out, but multiple people asked this question. Does All the Leads have a form to put on your website that goes to Probate Cash?
The answer is absolutely yes. That's one of the great benefits of having that website, is putting that there. And it not only allows you to have that ability on your website, but it's the one that allows you to make the most money off of the opportunity that you're providing, because you earn a commission on doing it, and we will build it into your site for you. In addition to that, I'll also tell you that 2 weeks ago on this call, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we talked about this, and the folks from Probate Cash are going to subsidize your mailings going forward. We're putting the finishing touches on the workflow to get this done, and they're going to put a Probate Cash flyer branded for you in your mailing if you want them to do that, and we'll reduce the cost of each mailing piece by a nickel. So helping to subsidize the cost of your mail and put that information out directly to getting that done. So it's great for probate. And if you're mailing to pre-probate, it's even better for that, because very quickly it delivers that same message for that. So yes, definitely we have the form. We'll definitely do it for you. And I'll just close with one thing. I know we're to the top of the hour and about ready for Jim to do his see you later. I'll just put this back up one more time for you to take a quick look. And I've already noticed that we've gotten a bunch of people filling out the form, and I appreciate you doing that. I just popped it back up again. Fill out the form on FIS Building Expired. We want to hear from you. I've been surprised at how many of you have already taken the time to do that since we started talking today. So please do that. We'll leave this up for just a minute. We won't shut the call down, so you can write this down and go do this. But just take a couple of minutes and go do that. Let us know what you're working with. And with that, unless you got anything else, Bruce, let's let Jimmy do his thing.
All right.
Ready?
Good, bud.
All right. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Particularly thank those that actively participated and shared success stories and ideas. And I want to challenge each of you, take one idea that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice. And please come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. See you same time next Thursday. Take care.